There's two interviews. One's a little bit longer. Actually, no, but they're both about the same. But listen to this. This is when it comes to bringing a lot of jobs back to America. This conversation is a gem. We got to listen to this conversation. First off, I told you I didn't know much about JD Vance. Didn't know much about JD Vance, but JD Vance is a smooth talking dude. Like the first time I really saw him was at the debate. That's the first time I saw him. And Uncle Brother wrote, old Barack was speaking to what would help American workers. New Barack speaks for the elites that give him access to the club. That is a fact. Well, I agree with it. It's a fact to me. We'll let everybody else determine. But take a look at this.
The reason that there is a housing crisis is that not enough houses have been built.
And that we have 25 million people who shouldn't be here.
Well, I mean, this is the thing.
I think it's both.
I know you do. I don't think that many people who look into this agree with you, but about a third of the construction workforce in this country is Hispanic. Of those, a large proportion are undocumented. So how do you propose to build all the housing necessary that we need in this country by removing all the people who are working in construction?
Well, I think it's a fair question because we know that back in the 1960s when we had very low levels of illegal immigration, Americans didn't buy houses, didn't build houses. But of course they did. And I'm being sarcastic, of course, in service of a point, Lulu, the assumption that because a large number of home builders now are using undocumented labor, that's the only way to build homes. I think, again,
the country is much bigger. The need is much bigger. I mean, I'm not arguing in favor of illegal immigration. I'm asking how you would deal with the knock-on effect of your proposal to remove millions of people who work in a critical part of the economy.
Well, I think that what you would do is you would take, let's say, for example, the 7 million prime age men who have dropped out of the labor force, and you have a smaller number of women, but still millions of women prime age who have dropped out of the labor force. You absolutely could re-engage folks into the American labor market. This is, I think,
to work in construction?
Of course you could.
I mean, the unemployment rate is 4.1%. Most people who
unemployment rate, Lulu, this is important.
But most people who don't work can't work in the regular economy. They're in the military, they're parents, they're sick, they're old. They might not want to work in construction.
The unemployment rate does not count labor force participation dropouts. And again, this is one of the really deranged things that I think illegal immigration does to our society is it gets us in a mindset of saying we can only build houses with illegal immigrants when we have 7 million, just men, not even women, just men who have completely dropped out of the labor force. People say, well,
think about that. She's sitting here saying, if we get rid of all these illegal immigrants, how are we gonna, how is that the lead? How is that your primary focus? Like, shouldn't it be, okay, that's a good problem. Hey, we got all these jobs that we now need to be filled. Let's pay them at certain wages. Matter of fact, JD got it. My fault.
Well, Americans won't do those jobs. Americans won't do those jobs for below the table wages. They won't do those jobs for non-living wages. But people will do those jobs. They will just do those jobs at certain wages. And think about this from the perspective of an American company, okay? I want them to go searching in their own country for their own citizens. Sometimes people who may be struggling with addiction or trauma, get them re-engaged in American society.
Let me give you an example, because this came up in a funny, there was a couple funny posts going around with a couple of my homies from Montclair. And they were talking about people working for the town. In Montclair, town that I grew up in, they hire a lot of people from the town to work for the town. Now, imagine if they gave those jobs to people outside of the community, outside of the town. A lot of people in the town could benefit from those jobs, right? A lot of people that may be, looking for a quality job to have, struggling. So there's certain benefits that come from working for the town. Why would we not want the people in the community to fill the community jobs and for those jobs to be available to the people in the community so that those jobs can be a positive thing in their lives that help upgrade wherever they are in life? It's the same thing when it comes to America. yes, they may not want to work those jobs for the same wages, that somebody that may be, I don't know. You see people when I go to the Home Depot out here, there's a lot of people that are just waiting. I'm sure they may not be getting, they can hire, you can pick somebody up at Home Depot and pay them less and not give them benefits, not give them insurance, all these other things that may be more favorable to your company. But in all actuality, it's taking away opportunities from the people that are in the community. It's taking away opportunities from people that are Americans. Who should be prioritized here? And I guess what she's proposing is, well, how do we, what are we going to do with homes and building homes? We'll figure it out. But you first got to address the problem. I don't know. What are y'all thoughts? What are y'all thoughts? Like they're here illegally. They were incentivized to come here illegally. I'm all for people, migrating to this country and going about following the rules, following the laws to become citizens or to be here under whatever status that they're under. But I don't see how, just what Barack Obama said in his video 15, 20 years ago, whenever that was recorded, he said the same thing, that's a pretty reasonable approach to want to prioritize the American citizens and to prioritize the people that are going about this process in a legal way compared to the people that are here illegally. I don't know how it's so different now that we're in this situation, and maybe just now that we're talking to a Republican, because now that that's the Republican stance, I guess it's crazy.
We cannot have an entire American business community that is giving up on American workers and then importing millions of illegal laborers. That is what we have thanks to Kamala Harris's border policies. I think it's one of the biggest drivers of inequality. It's one of the biggest reasons why we have millions of people who have dropped out of the labor force. Why try to re-engage an American citizen in a good job if you can just import somebody from Central America who's going to work under the table for poverty wages? It is a disgrace, and it has led to the evisceration of the American middle class.
All right, so I want to show one more video. I don't know why they keep bringing JD Vance on these platforms if they're not going to prepare to. I don't know. Maybe they're underestimating him. But listen to this. It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.